Well, hello everybody and Happy New Year to you. We hope you had a sensational holiday. Thanks again for tuning in to Act 3. We are delighted as always that you're here, and we have a heck of a great show all lined up just for you. So listen, on today's episode, we're thinking about all things Happy New Year, all things that are great in the community, programs that are in the community that are really making a huge difference on the things we do, not thing. We do lots of things, and there's a wonderful place. But also, we're meeting with some music, a bit of music. You know what? Just grab yourself a beverage and enjoy the show.
I'm sitting on the edge of love and happiness. Never experienced such a moment as this. So if you got that good feeling in your body and you want to bring this moment to life, come with me, we'll hit the town. Let's go right now and live the life. I just want to shine like the sky up like a sunset, living with no regrets. I just want to shine.
Hello, everyone, and welcome. I'm your host, Kevin Wagner, and I'm joined today with the Executive Director of the Island Crisis Care Society, Violet Hayes. Violet, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you, Kevin. It's great to be here.
Island Crisis Care Society. Tell our viewers a little bit about that society and what they do in the community here.
Yeah, so Island Crisis Care Society started back in the early 80s when a group of people from different churches got together and saw a need and opened up the first Samaritan House, which was a shelter. And we've grown from there. Back in those days, it was just people coming together and feeding and sheltering people. And now we have 14 programs across Nanaimo and up into Oceanside, and about 150 staff.
Is that right?
Yeah.
I guess from the 80s to where we are now, that's quite a span of time. You've seen a lot of change in the community. What was, looking back, like here we are in our new year, what for the society, what was the last year? What did that year hold for you, and what do you hope for moving forward?
Yeah, it was a really busy year. We started the year in January with a big flood in our offices when we had that really cold spell. And then from there, we just continued to keep going, because that's what we do. And then in the fall, we had a wonderful opportunity. We were able to open up a 6-bed supportive recovery program for people working their recovery program and able to stay for up to 2 years in that program. Mm-hmm. So that opened in the fall, and then just now we've opened a new drop-in hub in downtown Nanaimo. So we're really excited about that. We met a couple of years ago with some of the people from the streets and asked them if there was something that we could do as a community, what would be the most important thing? And unanimously, they said that they wanted a place where they could come, a place where they could receive services, get food, be warm. And so now we've opened this up. It's funding that is through the city and through the Reaching Home funds with United Way. And it's year round. And so that is just an amazing opportunity.
I guess that's the key. Sometimes some of these centers are opened on a seasonal basis, but this is exciting for the city, for the needs of our community, in that it is a year-round facility. Yeah. That offers a lot in a way to help.
Yeah, it really does. I mean, we opened, it's absolutely brand new. We don't even have a name yet. And so January 2nd, we opened our doors, and we're really not there because we still, we're buying furniture and we still don't have a fridge. We're just serving peanut butter and jam sandwiches and really just trying to meet the needs as we can right now. But so hopeful for the future that, as we see other agencies working with us, we will be able to really serve and see people moving forward, a place to come and just receive the help that they need.
And isn't it interesting, you were saying how you went out into Nanaimo to kind of understand what is the primary need. And as you said, unanimously, a drop-in center of this type is really what people felt was needed in the community.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's such a long list of facilities that the Crisis Care Society has. You guys cover such a wide gamut. Programs, services, it's really quite impressive of what is offered. It's not just one service, it's multifaceted.
Yeah, we love to be innovative, and so when we see a need, we try and fill it. And we don't want to see people just surviving. We want to see them thriving.
Right.
And so we have a lot of programming. We receive quite a bit of government funding, but that will cover the core services. And so what we really hope to do with money that we receive from donors and from other grants is to just go that extra mile to see people, getting the help that they need, making those connections, moving forward, getting a job. So many things that we take for granted. If we've been brought up in a home where our parents have been nurturing, we're set, right? We have that ability to move forward. But if you haven't had that, it's such a gap. And so when we can come alongside people and support them, we see them growing and moving forward.
And you talk about the funding helping to support those extra initiatives. Next month, February, we have a big event that is part of that fundraising effort. Tell us a bit about that.
I'm wearing my hoodie for the year, 2025. So anyone that raised $500 in December received this hoodie. So I'm proud to say that I did.
Good for you, very good.
Every year there's a different toque that people earn if they walk. Yep. And this is this year's one, so it's a really nice one. And it's on February 22nd. We host two. We have one in the Oceanside area, which is in Qualicum again this year, and then one in Nanaimo, which is going to start at St. Andrew's Church downtown. And you walk. It's a great opportunity to really make a difference for the community. When you see hundreds and hundreds of people walking 5 kilometers, all wearing their toque, it's very impactful because we're raising awareness, but we're also raising money. And it's a great opportunity to bring people together. You bring your friends together, or maybe your work team or your church, and all come together as a team and walk together and just really emphasize the need in the community and how doing something like that can really make a difference. Yeah,
and it is a real community effort. How many years are we into this now? We've been doing this for some time.
I think it's 15 or something in Nanaimo, right. And I think this is the 11th year in Oceanside, and it really has become, a great event. That so many different organizations, like we have Rotary doing different things, and there's volunteer opportunities, and like I say, the churches get really involved. So it becomes a bit of a competition, which organization is going to raise the most.
Sure enough, those are good competitions. Yes. We like those type, don't we? Island Crisis Care Society, where's a place that people can visit to learn more about the fundraising you just mentioned, Coldest Night of the Year, so many more other programs, facilities, services, volunteer, donation opportunities. Where can people get more information on things like that?
Our website is a great place to go, islandcrisiscaresociety.ca. We try and keep it as up to date as we can, and we're pretty good at keeping it up to date. Yep. So you'll even find the information on the new drop-in hub on there, and especially about Coldest Night of the Year, you'll find all that information as well. Oh. So that's the place to go.
That's great. Well, I visited myself. It's very informative. There's a lot of information there. So I encourage our viewers to check that out. Coldest Night of the Year is February
22nd.
February 22nd, coming up.
And the opportunity to walk, knowing that all across Canada and into the US, people are walking on that same night.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And speak about that global community, the national community as well. So that's excellent. Violet, thank you so much for joining us and sharing your time with us. I appreciate it.
My privilege.
Teresa, over to you.
Thanks, Kevin. I am excited to say that I am walking for the 10th year in a row in Coldest Night on February 22nd. Yay! Hope some people will join us and my team of powerful women. I am here with Chrissandra Unger. She is a registered counselor, and she also includes Biofield Tuning in her services. So we're going to hear all about that today. Hi, Chrissandra. So nice to have you here.
Thanks. Hi, Teresa.
So Biofield Tuning. I had the pleasure of having a Biofield Tuning session with you very recently. New me, new year. And I want you to tell us a little bit about Biofield Tuning. What is that and why is it so wonderful?
Biofield Tuning works with the electromagnetic field around our body, and I use forks, tuning forks, to hear where the disturbances are in our field. So the torus that goes around our body and field is what I'm working with. So if this is your body, then I'm working within the field, and I can hear where past traumas have come up, something sometimes just as simple as falling off a bike, or some death, like a grief of a death of a grandparent, or those kinds of things. They come up as different kinds of sounds. It's like, when we have hear a sad song, we know it's sad. Yeah. It's just the same thing with the fork. It gives a down sound, so we can tell that when you were probably about 10 years old, something sad happened here. And so what we're doing is we're waiting for the body to ping back the true sound from the fork, because it's like echolocation, right? Okay. It's just pinging back the sound. So that's how we find it, and that's how I hear it, and we clear it up as we move it back into the body.
And you're going to do a little bit of a demonstration, but before that, I want to say that I had the session, as I was mentioning, and the following day, I was out hiking with my friends, and I left them in the dust, and I just wanted to go fast, and I had this energy, and I never realized what this biofield tuning can do. It's relaxation, it's energy, and what are some of the other benefits?
Yes, it's working with depression. And usually it takes a few sessions because it's subtle energy. Oftentimes too, when we're working with trauma, when we talk about it too much in therapy, that just brings us back into it. So when we're working with the field, it can bring it up for a moment, but we're clearing it out. So emotion can come up and memories can come up, but that's when we change the story and change the energy coming back into the body. So that's where energy comes from, because we don't know that we're carrying a lot of this stuff in our field.
Yeah, well, it was amazing, the surge of energy and just feeling really up and ready to go. Are you going to do a little bit of a demonstration?
We'll show
How does it all work?
Okay, so I'm going to grab one of these forks. It's a tuning fork, but it's not quite like a tuning fork that you would have to tune. Let's say I have a piano. It's a different kind of tuning fork. That has a pure sound. This one has overtones and undertones and the harmonics. So it's picking up full spectrum. So what I would do is I start from the outer edge of your field, which is your birth and gestation. It's like the membrane of your field. Okay, and I can hear, and then as I'm working in, I'm going through the timeline of your history, and I'm hearing what happened. Okay, so if we're coming in, you can be like 3 years old, but what's happening is I would be tuning in, coming in with the same area of your body. So if it's the heart chakra, then we're working on things, sadness, grief, loss, and the different sides on the left side of your body, it's overdoing and overtaking, caretaking people, which leads to resentment. And on the right-hand side, it's grief, loss, and depression. Okay, so actually it's the other way around. It's the other side. So we're coming in, and we're focusing on the heart chakra. And then we gradually keep moving through your field, like the strands of hair in the DNA. We can see what people have been through. I can hear what you've been through as we're moving through your story.
And then using the forks, I know on me you use them actually on my body a little bit.
Yes.
We need to wrap up pretty quick here, but can you just show how would you do it on the body?
Right. So on the body, we use it on specific pressure points, acupressure points. And so I would use it on the bottom of your feet, which is your kidney point. This is your lung point. And use it on your sternum, the top of your head. That gets the energy flowing before we start the session.
Wow, well, I can really feel that going through my body. Thank you so much, Chrissandra, and letting us know about Biofield Tuning and you for a new year.
Thank you. Get your energy going.
Yeah, and Elspeth, it's your turn up next.
Thanks so much, Teresa. That was incredibly interesting. And I've got someone incredibly interesting here with us now. I am here with Michael Patrick of the Blues Explosion. He's an amazing local singer here in Nanaimo, a local musician, and also a local philanthropist. Michael, thank you so much for joining us this evening.
Pleasure.
It's wonderful to have you. So, the Blues Explosion, you are well known throughout town. You play in Nanaimo and other places as well. Tell me a little bit about your music.
Well, I have a horn section, and we play. We're probably going to be at the Blues Festival, the Nanaimo Blues Festival.
Fantastic.
I play for Longevity John down in Duncan, and we do the 39 Days of July and the Duncan Showroom. And you can see I'm usually at the Queens every Sunday because we have a blues jam that's packed.
Jam.
And some of the best musicians on the island and abroad show up at that blues jam. So everybody should check it out.
Definitely, everyone should check it out. And with your music, you not only attract crowds and are really livening up the local music scene with blues and jazz and wonderful bringing of artists together, but you also focus your music towards good causes. And that's one of the reasons that you're here tonight, is to talk about some of that. And tell us a little bit about some of the work that you've been doing recently in order to support local community interests.
When I was younger, I was living in Las Vegas and playing in bands, and sometimes I wasn't playing in bands. And so I experienced what it was like to be homeless and to go hungry and to not have any money to buy a dinner or anything. And so when I finally came to Nanaimo in 1987, I saw that there was a need for people on Christmas time to have a turkey on their table. Like there's people that can't afford meals. And so I thought, well, you know, there was a guy in town named James Bond, and he was a radio personality here in Nanaimo, and him and I talked about it and doing benefits for the food bank, and I started doing it for the Salvation Army, and I've been doing it since 1987. So this 30-something times that we've done it, and we did it for many years for the Salvation Army, and I have people like Dave Gogo shows up every year. He always supports it, and all the local musicians and the Queens. Thank goodness for the Queens. They give me the venue. They have a great staff and a wonderful stage, good sound, and they've given me that venue ever since day one to do it.
It's fantastic.
And so this last Christmas, we did it for NACL, and we...
and that's NACL is the Nanaimo Association for Community Living. I
That's
think.
right.
Wow.
And
They do
it
good
places
work.
people that are homeless. It helps them get a job and get them on their feet, so to speak.
Absolutely.
Right. So we did a benefit for them, and I had like about 8 bands, and everybody does it for free. We go in there and do an hour set and raise money for that. Previously, we've done it for the Samaritan House, the women's shelter, and this February 9th, we're going to be doing one for Wellington High School.
Fantastic.
And with Carmela Luvisotto, who I went to VIU with. And I've known, she's a really good friend of mine. And we talking about it. And I go, well, let's do something for Wellington, right? So on February 9th at the Queens, we're going to be doing a special event for Wellington High School. And then on March 22nd, the Nanaimo Blues Society, which I'm a member of, we're going to be doing a fundraiser to help us get a Hammond B3 organ so that the musicians that are coming from out of town will have a Hammond B3 organ, which are now obsolete. They don't make them anymore. So we found one, and we're going to try to raise money so we can get that, so the musicians will have that to play on.
That's fantastic. I love how you've been devoting your gatherings of music to help the community, but also to help music and really to encourage the music community, both the students at Wellington, and we all know that they have a great program there for
Wonderful
kids to
program.
learn music, and also to promote the blues. I mean, I think it's such a wonderful form of art. And as you started with, of course, you support the Blues Festival as well, really carrying the blues forward in the community.
Right. And like every Sunday at the Queens, we have a blues jam,
Yeah.
and it's packed. It's
I
like
bet.
just completely packed, and the musicianship there and the bands that come in there. We've had like Miss Emily. I don't know if you know who Miss Emily is, but she's well known throughout Canada, and we get some really good entertainment in there.
That's fantastic.
And so I would suggest to people, if you're not doing anything on a Sunday, to come to the Queens.
I think lots of our viewers are going to want to do that.
Yeah, and you'll see me there. I'm usually there because I'm in the Blues Society, so I'll be hosting it or helping to host it.
I think one of the most impressive things that you said as you told me your story just prior to us chatting now was that you've come to Canada and come to Nanaimo where you're not originally from to help support the community. And I think that's really a very great great thing that you've done in deciding to come to a place and really give back to the community. Would you have anything, just as a last word, to share with those who are watching and want to know how they can also support the community?
Well, you know, like there's a need. Like sometimes the government doesn't have enough funds or money to help people like the homeless. And of course, we all know that we have a serious homeless problem right now.
Absolutely.
And so there's a great need there. And if we throw fundraisers and everything that helps supplement what the government can do, the government can only do so much, right? And so I think it's really important for people to become involved in their community. I love Nanaimo. I love Vancouver Island. I love this city. And I think it's really important to help the people here. Some people don't have a good Christmas because they might not have toys under the Christmas tree for the children and not enough food on the table. So if we can do that and raise money to do that, that's a good thing to do.
That's great. I think just you're a wonderful example of raising the arts and encouraging people to give back to a community that they've chosen to be in. That's wonderful. So for our viewers, they can come support all of your fundraisers that you've mentioned, and they can come to the Blues Nights. Yes. And I think that's going to be fantastic. So we will look forward to hearing you then.
Support live music. Come to the Queens. Come see me. Come talk to me. I'll talk to you all about it, and we'll be doing a lot more fundraisers too, for whatever we need it to do it for.
We'll make sure to have you on again to talk about them and to play next time.
Yes.
But until then, we have to close. So over to you, Jeremy.
Thanks, Elspeth and Michael, for all that big New Year's energy. My guest today is Barbara Dobbin, and she is from Barbara Anne Photography, and she's kindly agreed to come and share 136 other reasons why we can be excited in Nanaimo this year. Hey, welcome, Barbara.
Hi, thanks for having me, Jeremy.
Barbara, tell me about Barbara Anne Photography first. You're a bit of a fixture around town, but some of our viewers might not be aware of you.
Well, I started full-time 4 years ago. I've been doing portrait photography for about 16 years, but 4 years ago I decided to leave my corporate job behind and follow my passion, which is about making people feel better about themselves, especially women who have spent their entire lives in front of social media and magazines and TV and feel like they just aren't beautiful or photogenic. But it's not true. They are.
Everybody feels like that a little bit inside once in a while, right?
Yep.
So tell me what you do to make that change. How do you take somebody who's maybe not secure about being photographed and sort of coax them into that vulnerable space with you?
The first part is really building trust and rapport. I start by having phone conversations with my clients, and then we have a consultation where I help guide them through wardrobe choices that are actually going to make them feel good about themselves. And then when they come into the studio, depending on what type of portraits they want, I do have hair and makeup available in the studio to help them feel and look their absolute best. But I don't find that they actually need that unless they're doing glamour or boudoir or something like that where they want something a little bit fancier, a little bit more. But I do a lot of what I call an as I am portrait session. And that's what I'm doing for the Women of Influence this year. So we have 136 nominees, and most of them are coming through my studio. And it's a complimentary photo shoot that I'm gifting every one of them, along with a print for them to take home and remember the amazing experience that they have in my studio. They all get to pick out a portrait of themselves that they absolutely love. And so far, 100%, everybody's picked out a portrait that they love. And I forgot where I was going with that.
No, let's pause for a second, because that's really exciting.
Yes.
Can you tell me about the Women of Influence? We've had a lot of past alumni and probably future ones here at Act 3. So just for the audience, so to catch everybody up, can you tell me about the Women of Influence Awards in Nanaimo?
It is it's the event of the year for sure. Started last year, and what it is an ability for us as a community to actually recognize the women in our community and the non-binary and Two-Spirit as well, and recognize how much those people are giving to our community. And I tell you, by the end of this year, I'll have photographed almost 225 women in our community who are giving so much, and they're not doing it to get something back. I've never met a more grateful group of women, a more thankful group of women, and it gives me so much hope for not just our community, but for the whole world. It's really a beautiful thing.
They say a picture is worth 1,000 words, but we didn't need that many to describe the process that you're doing. You had told me before there's a style of photo that you're taking with these women, and you had told me a name of it. What is that called?
It's the As I Am portrait session.
What makes an As I Am portrait session different from a As I Think I Should Be portrait session?
It's a good way to put it. The second one is more of a As I Dream to Be portrait session. But the As I Am, so the women are expected to come in with however they normally do their own makeup and hair, or without makeup and hair done, however they show up to the world. And then I guide them to pick out clothes from their own closet, not to go buy a whole bunch of new clothes. And then when they come in, my goal is to take who they are every day and create portraits of themselves that they look at and that they love. And it helps them to reconnect with the woman that they've always been, but may have forgotten about because they've been running around looking after businesses or looking after their family and their friends. And these women look after so many people. It's just insane. And they get to see that they are actually beautiful.
That sounds awesome. What would you say is the most challenging piece for people that come to you? What do you feel holds people back from getting that photo and from saying, go ahead, snap it?
Oh, the first thing is, and I hear this so many times, I'm not worth it. It's not about me. It's about everybody else. But once they step outside of that, then it's, I'm not photogenic. I hate being in front of the camera. It's so stressful. But if you find a photographer, whether it's me or somebody else that you trust and that can help you feel comfortable, then finding your own personality points and letting those shine, that's where the portraits really become beautiful.
I think that's great advice. I had asked you before we spoke earlier about, what is the best tip for a picture? I thought there's got to be a special angle or something like that, but nope, you said trust the photographer. Yes. And just in speaking, I can understand how that becomes an important thing. As a famously awkward photo taker, do you do men as well, or do you just do women's photography?
I absolutely photograph men as well. I photograph couples, families. I do a lot of personal branding and headshots. And then, of course, I do boudoir for all genders.
Beautiful. Where can we find out about that?
The best way is to find my website where you can actually see my work as well. So barbaraanne.ca. And right now I am booking boudoir and Mother's Day and all those things. It's February and March.
So still a little bit of February, March available?
Yes, a little bit.
Awesome,
yes.
Barbara Ann with an E. I appreciate you coming here.
Thank
We've
you.
got our own woman of influence sneaking around here somewhere. Where might she be?
I'm over here. Hey everybody, I hope that you really enjoyed this episode of Act 3. I know I certainly did. Thank you so much, you guys, and thanks to all of our incredible guests who come out day after day and really do some amazing things in this community. I specifically want to touch base in regards to Island Crisis Care Society, who was the first guest that you saw today. I know that right now they are just kind of in that building phase and they're really in need of a few extra supplies. So what I noticed is that people are looking for things like instant oatmeal and things like, a cup of soup or things that can be easily made with hot water. So if you should happen to have a little bit of extra stuff in your cupboard that you'd like to donate to ICCS, please reach out to the website and get a hold of Violet. They'll be happy to take your donation. So that's just something to consider. And also to consider going on a Sunday to a fabulous blues afternoon. Why not head out to the Queens and really have a good time? I think that this year is going to be a very spectacular year. It's certainly starting off that way. Thanks again for tuning into Act 3. We'll see you next time. I'm glad you enjoyed the show.